Sabrina 70s comic issue 41. Sabrina's excited that at last she's visiting the famous Spook Castle amusement park. As everyone else is scared, Hilda and Sabrina think it's nice and cozy in the Spook Castle. I guess because since they're witches, they don't have to be scared of fake skeletons when they can protect themselves whenever they want. Hilda says this is a nostalgic experience that reminds her of the time she visited her cousins in Transylvania. Then she remembers that they wrote that they were coming to visit them. I don't know why she's panting. Why would she merely run back home? Oh, I guess they only ran far enough that the crowd wouldn't see them warp home. I don't even get to learn the names of these cousins right away. They hate how bright and cheery the house is. I guess Hilda and Zelda aren't as stereotypical of witches. But even Della doesn't complain about how bright and cheery the house looks. So it's not even a witch thing. The guy dressed like a vampire is shocked that there's no trapdoors in the room, and it turns out that the girl's a vampire too, as she complains about all the sunlight being lit in. Then when the milkman shows up, the vampire guy runs after him, and is offended at Sabrina telling him not to frighten someone, after a time skip I guess, because now he's standing still near a staircase. Finally, Sabrina gets the idea to take them to a place where they are happy, the Spook Castle. They sneak in there easily because everyone just assumes they're part of the show, though Sabrina could have easily just teleported them all there. It's cute to see the girls so happy that the rooms are damp and dark. Sabrina says happily that now they can frighten everyone to their heart's content. They look forward to having a vacation, and Sabrina's called bright and thoughtful. I hope all they wanted to do was frighten the milkman, because it would be pretty dark if they planned on doing more than that. Hilda agrees and says she deserves a reward, as I'm still waiting to be told how these vampires get their blood without being serial killers. Kinda dark for a kids' comic. I'm forced to assume witches just zap up duplicates of blood in the blood banks to feed them. That perfectly explains why she has vampires for cousins. Witches would make great allies to vampires, who are totally probably dependent on them to have law-abiding lives and a proper society. Vampirism sounds like it'd be a witch's curse on someone, because it's just a bunch of disadvantages. And immortality, which is also a disadvantage because you get really bored of life. Somehow, Hilda's reward, as I predicted, isn't a reward at all, and she should have known that. Sabrina's reward is that she has to stir her prize brew for the next 5 hours. What kind of witch would stir a brew herself instead of being smart enough to cast a spell on the stirring stick so that it stirs automatically? I just realized that because she said 5 hours. I could understand them stirring for a little while, but not that long. How's she supposed to go to the bathroom? I have to assume Hilda's actually punishing her, because she actually hates her cousins now for being insulting. But whenever she hates someone, she makes it obvious to them. In the next story, Harvey says he's pitching today, and there's a big league scout in the stands. And Sabrina's magic is going to guarantee his luck. It's so nice of her to help him so much after everything he does. She wishes that she knew a little more about baseball though. She stupidly casts a spell that causes a football to be thrown during a baseball game. No one would be this stupid. And we saw that she knows what a home run is earlier. This would only make sense for Hilda. Harvey's told to cut out this foolishness. Naturally, when the coach says he wants a whitewash job on the team, Sabrina has no idea what that means, and neither do I. I just thought of, the reason why the witch doctor looked like he did, or Cleopatra. Still, she should know better than to humiliate Harvey by warping a bucket of white paint to him and brainwashing him into painting the players white. Why didn't she just stick with making him great at pitching or not do anything? It's common sense to not do anything here. It's there to show off punny visual humor that makes the story memorable and charming after the fact. But when I'm trying to understand the story's logic, I'm too frustrated at Sabrina's unbelievable idiocy. And hating Harvey isn't enough for me to like this, because Harvey didn't do anything wrong in this story. But what makes the story better in retrospect is that it's just one in a series of other stories about Sabrina messing with him when he's playing sports. Thankfully, Sabrina feels guilty and says Harvey should control his own destiny, and decides to grant him his next wish instead of just erasing everyone's memories of this and returning things to normal. How is Harvey controlling his own destiny if she's gonna grant his wish? So when he wishes that he was under the showers right away, a shower magically appears, and somehow no one figures out it's magic and people laugh instead of being confused. I wonder if this is going to help Harvey by endearing people to him. It turns out he's going to be hired for the big leagues as a comedian before the show. Okay, but he can't do that without Sabrina. So good thing the story ends there. I guess Sabrina's just joking at the end, or that'd be stupid. Walking above the ground without magic. In the comedy page, because she has to use magic every day or get nagged for it, Sabrina decides to make Jughead's dog, Hot Dog, dance. And her clarinet playing only makes the actual hot dogs dance, even though she must have been imagining the dog dancing. You'd think that only he would dance. Or at least both would. And that's no excuse to cause this to happen. If she has to use magic every day, she would zap up a snack every day. In the next comedy page, Sabrina tells Hilda to have mercy because she's had her flying on a broom in circles all week. I guess she doesn't mean literally all week, because how'd she go to the bathroom? Hilda said she's gotta learn broom flying, even though she knows how to do it just fine. This must take place long before every single story in this comic where she flew a broom. She feels dizzy, and Hilda said she's earned a carnival day with Harvey, but then he rushes her to a spinning carnival ride. And logically, after she said, oh no, she wouldn't actually have to go on it. In the next comedy page, Sabrina sees a woman calling out for help in the ocean when Harvey's the lifeguard. And she arbitrarily assumes that she just wants to be near Harvey. Granted, a lot of women have flirted with Harvey, but this isn't healthy behavior for a girlfriend. So Sabrina uses magic to dry up the part of the ocean she's near. I guess she had to erase their memories of that. In the next comedy page, Hilda uses magic to carry her things to the beach, where she's actually enjoying herself. Go figure, because she's not wearing a hot witch costume this time. Somehow it took her a long time to perfect this simple trick. Sabrina says that she does a better job, because she gets Harvey to carry those things for her. In the next story, Sabrina says it's gonna rain, so she says they should head for a bus shelter nearby. He doesn't know what she's talking about, and she teleports a bus shelter to her as he questions how it got here. And she lies that's always been here. Then some strangers go share the shelter with them, lampshading that they never knew there was a shelter here. The government would investigate. Sabrina's easily annoyed enough to hate them for dropping in when she wants to be alone with Harvey. I'd expect this of someone else, not the all-loving goody-two-shoes Sabrina. I guess she's had a bad day already. She calls their attention to an umbrella someone supposedly left behind and zaps it up, and says that now she can leave the shelter and be alone with Harvey. The confused women lampshade how suspicious Sabrina's being, saying that it's funny the way she looked out there, as if she expected to find the umbrella. They're suspicious too easily that time. Then they get mad because the shelter disappears to avoid attracting attention from any more mortals, even though obviously that would only make them suspicious. And Harvey says the shelter's gone. Sabrina asks how he could see anything through a downpour like this and uses magic to make it rain a lot harder near them. So Harvey thinks the rain's making his imagination run wild. He thanks her for the umbrella she found, and she generously tells him to keep it as she goes home. Then after he spends time with someone who has to have a photographic memory, because he remembered every detail of a sports game and talked about it for 25 minutes. Sabrina gets rid of Harvey's umbrella for no reason. And as if that wasn't bad enough, some random guy thinks Harvey's an idiot for being out in the rain. The first story is about Hilda's cousins from Transylvania visiting and hating her house. And then the spooky castle amusement park that Hilda and Sabrina visited actually serves as a Chekhov's gun. And Sabrina has a smart idea to take her cousins there so they can scare mortals all they want. The second story should have had Harvey do something awful to deserve the humiliation Sabrina gave him. Somehow, she doesn't reveal the existence of witchcraft with this stuff appearing out of nowhere in front of everybody. Instead, Harvey's just seen as a funny joker and hired as a comedian for the big leagues. You'd think Dell would want to have a word with her for making the spy witches have to erase so many memories. You'd think Sabrina wouldn't be this stupid. The third story is about how Sabrina deals with being out in the rain with Harvey. She zaps up some shelter in an umbrella, instead of keeping it safe and just zapping up an umbrella that she could pull out of a bush. I like how realistically some strangers want to use the shelter too. But Sabrina's lucky that Harvey's so gullible when she lies to him about the magic. I mean, if he was only pretending to not believe in witches, it would make him look really stupid for provoking Hilda so much. But he's established to be an idiot anyways, so I guess that would be in character. And her getting rid of his umbrella for no reason made a frustrating ending. It's not like she discovered he cheated on her, although I'd rather he never do that again.